Hey. You know, I wasn't sure what kind of walk-up music is. I thought James Brown or something. You know, we're gonna living in America or something like that. But so I think I'm the only person up here who's not running for office this time around, and so not this year. Let's put it this way: I'm not running this year. So I really appreciate that. I think I am the only person, however, that wore a white coat to a barbecue, and I thought, wow, look at that, look around. Anybody else wearing a white coat? No. So I am the village idiot. All right. So I am Senator Ant Thornton. I'm District 19. You all are in my district as well, and I'm actually very appreciative of that. So I'm going to give you a little bit. As you know, back in February, we wrapped up the 30-day session in the legislature, and we had some wins for Republicans. We held the line in a lot of key areas. We slowed down a lot of bad ideas that they were foisting upon us, and we forced a lot of real debate where others were just going to rubber stamp them. So we saw the passage, and one of the big issues for me is we saw the passage of the bill out of the Senate that attempted to restrict your Second Amendment rights in ways that raise serious constitutional questions. Now, law-abiding citizens should never be treated like problems as if we're the criminals, when we know criminals ignore the law. So the Constitution is not a suggestion. It is the framework of our republic. Now, thank God, even though it got out of the Senate, thank God for people like Representative Stephanie Lord. The gun bill got killed in the House, and so that was very, very important. Also, medical malpractice reform, something that desperately needs to protect our healthcare access in rural New Mexico, was finally achieved this year. Now, trial attorneys were attempting to delay it. They did everything they could to kill that bill, but they were denied due to the public outcry. When doctors leave, when specialists stop serving rural communities, it's families in places like Torrance County who pay the price. But let's be honest, there were also some losses in the last legislature. Losses just not for Republicans, but for all New Mexicans. This session, as Stephanie just mentioned, the legislature was willing to close 3 ICE detention facilities in our state, just to give a middle finger to the Trump administration. With the stroke of a pen, roughly 1,000 jobs statewide were willingly sacrificed, jobs that supported families, small businesses, and rural communities. However, just this week, the New Mexico Supreme Court unanimously denied the Attorney General's petition to void Otero County's ICE detention contract. Now, that's a win for us, but it's also a slap in the face to the legislature. They should have never passed it in the first place. Eliminating good-paying jobs in communities that need them is not economic development, it's economic contraction. Also, we did nothing this past legislature on juvenile justice reform. Now, I don't say this to discourage you. I say this to remind you, elections have consequences. Policy has consequences. And citizenship has consequences. Now, which brings me to why I'm here tonight. So we gather here as we approach something extraordinary. It's the 250th birthday of the United States of America. 250 years. In just a couple of months, we will mark a quarter of a millennium since a group of brave, imperfect, determined patriots signed a document that changed human history. On July 4th, 1776, they didn't sign a declaration of comfort. They didn't sign a declaration of safety. They signed the Declaration of Independence, and they did so knowing it could cost them everything. That kind of courage should humble us, because America did not begin as the most powerful nation in the world. It began as an idea that government derives its power from the consent of the governed, an idea that rights come from God, not from kings, not from bureaucrats, not from political parties, an idea that free people, left largely to govern themselves, will build something better than any central planner ever could. Now, for 250 years, that idea has been tested. It survived a revolution, it survived a civil war, it survived world wars, depressions, cultural upheaval, and political madness. And it survived because ordinary Americans, farmers, ranchers, small business owners, teachers, veterans, stood up and said, "This is worth defending." Now, people just like you, let's bring it home. Torrance County to Harris, Edgewood, Moriarty, Estancia, Cedar Crest, that's not Washington, D.C. It's not Wall Street. It's not Hollywood. And thank God for that. So ours is a community where people support one another and are willing to lend a hand to the neighbor in need, where ranchers know the value of water, where small business owners understand payroll better than any economist in Santa Fe, where families gather in churches, in high school gyms, and at county fairs. You understand something that our founders understood. Freedom works best closest to home. When government is local, accountable, and limited, communities thrive. When government grows distant, bloated, and disconnected, communities struggle. As Republicans, we don't believe in government just for government's sake. We believe in God first, family second, community third, and country fourth, and in that order. Strong families create strong communities. Strong communities create a strong nation. You don't build America from the top down, you build it from the ground up. Now, as we approach 250 years, we should ask ourselves a simple question. Are we honoring the gift that we inherited? Because there are forces in this country right now that do not see America as a miracle. They see it as a mistake. They focus only on our flaws. They teach our children to doubt the founding. They treat liberty as dangerous and government control as compassionate. But here's the reality. No nation in human history has done more to expand opportunity, defend freedom, and lift people out of poverty than the United States of America. Now, the American story is not perfect, but it is exceptional. And exceptionalism doesn't mean arrogance, it means responsibility. Responsibility to defend the constitutional government, responsibility to protect the rule of law, responsibility to ensure that our grandchildren inherit a country as free or freer than the one we were given. Now, it's easy to get discouraged watching national politics. I know that. It's easy to think, what difference can I make personally? The American Revolution didn't start with, a simple hashtag. It started in small gatherings of citizens who cared enough to show up, just like this group. 50 people in a room in Torrance County may not seem like much by DC standards, but 250 years ago, a handful of patriots meeting in taverns didn't seem like much either. History turns on small groups of committed people. Rural America matters. Your values matter. Your voice matters. Your vote matters. In communities like Torrance, Estancia, Torrance, and Mountain Air, you still believe in work. You still believe in personal responsibility. You still believe that if you borrow money, you pay it back. You still believe that parents, not bureaucrats, should raise children. You still believe that the Constitution means what it says. That is not outdated. That is foundational. As we move toward 250 years, we have a choice. We can treat America like a tired old house that needs to be torn down and rebuilt in someone else's image, or we can treat it like what it is, the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen, one that needs maintenance, responsibility, stewardship, and courage. Our founders pledged their lives, their fortunes, their sacred honor. Today, the price for us is not that high. The price for us is showing up. The price is voting. The price is speaking up when it's uncomfortable. The price is running for school board, city council, county commission. The price is mentoring the next generation. The 250th anniversary is not just a celebration. It's a checkpoint. What will historians say about our generation? Will they say we are the caretakers who preserved liberty, or the ones who slowly traded it away for comfort and convenience? I believe in you. I believe in New Mexico, and I believe in America. The same spirit that built this country still lives in rooms like this. 250 years ago, the founders bet on the American people. Now it's our turn to prove them right. Let's defend liberty. Let's strengthen families. Let's build communities worthy of the next 250 years. God bless Torrance County. God bless the great state of New Mexico. And God bless America. Thank you very much.